Have a seat and cross your feet. Take your hands to your feet. Find your toes. They are there at the end of your feet. So find them and just take one toe at a time and just pull the toes away from the feet. One at a time, starting with the big toe, just drawing the toes away from the base of the foot. And then draw the flesh of the buttocks out. Take your hands off to the sides and use your fingertips down on the floor to begin to center your body. As you center your torso, let the two thighs draw down equally, if possible, toward the floor. Bring your chest forward and upward, and roll your biceps forward as well. This rolling of the bicep forward puts the shoulders in an optimal place. You can feel your shoulder blades draw down. If you roll the other way, go ahead and roll the bicep in and just see what that feels like as it relates to the shoulders. You can see how the top of the shoulder lifts up a little bit. So what we want to do is reverse that. So turning the fingers back, drawing the bicep forward, and really getting that strong opening in the front and upper part of the chest. Then bring your palms all the way up and extend up into a V shape through both sides, lifting from the sit bone to the fingertips. Take a few breaths in this position and then bring the palms together and then bend your two elbows. And as you draw the hands down, lift the chest into the thumb mounds and let the elbows relax down. Again, the elbows are important. The position of the elbows will dictate the position of the shoulders. Draw the chin in, close your eyes, and go inward. Connect with your breath. Attempt to breathe through the nostrils. It's okay to purse the lips and let the breath come out of the lips, but trying to inhale through the nostrils, optimizing the function of the breath, the impact of it. Soften the eyes, soften the nose, soften the cheeks, soften the forehead, soften the temples. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharigasya chavai yogena yopa karatam prabharamaninam patanjalim pranjalir anatosmi abahu purushakaram shankachakrasi darinam Sahasra Shirsam Shwetam Prananami Patanjalam Hari Om. Bow your head towards your heart center. Release your hands. Lift your head. Open your eyes. Start today with the two heels forward in Dandasana, just momentarily, because Dandasana is the foundation of all seated poses. So extending through the heels, sitting from the sit bones, take your fingers again off to the two sides, and just find that symmetry, right to left. If you look down between your legs, you can have the legs up to about a foot apart here. But if you look down, you should be able to draw a center line right from the tailbone all the way down to between the two heels. And then from there, think about the spine as a reflection of that line in the middle, lifting and lengthening. All the way up through the top of the skull. Then take your right knee, bend the knee, take your hand to the inside, and bring your foot in toward your sit bone. And take the left arm around the patella, a little bit lower perhaps, and you can just hold on to that left hand and turn to your right. So we're going to sort of tie ourselves up in some knots a little bit, and then we're going to open up those knots. So just twisting is the knot. Twisting here to the right, drawing the navel around, getting a little bit of movement in the belly, in the abdomen. And then just take your right hand behind you, and if you're on a blanket, you can take your hand to the blanket and allow that to help you pull yourself around a little bit more. Feel that right collarbone draw away from the center, almost like it's a bow. Feel the back muscles engage and draw away from the spine, and then release and extend that right heel. Go to the second side, left heel in. Be precise about where you put the heel. It should be right in front of the sit bone. It's coordinating and working with the sit bone here. Wrap your right elbow around the upper shin. Just take hold of the hand here, and we'll start here. Now, this right leg stays engaged, so the quad is engaged. You're pressing down into the floor, and you're pushing forward through the heel. And you're spiraling around that central axis of the spine. Then take your left hand behind you, and if you can find your blanket, go ahead and use your hand on the blanket to help you spiral around a little more. We don't want to throw the spine out of that vertical alignment. I'm very conscious of the back muscles and how they're engaging or disengaging. On one side, I feel like the back muscles are moving away from the spine, and on another side, I feel like they're moving in. When I take that left collarbone and draw it out, the muscles go in toward the side of the spine. And as I spin around, on that right side, the back muscles are drawing away from the spinal column. And then release. Extend forward. Take your right foot, lift it up, take hold of it with your left hand, and bring the foot across and back. So I'm pointing the sole of the foot behind me, and I'm trying to lay the right knee right on top of the left here. And then I'm going to take my right hand back one more time, and just take the left arm and reach it over that right thigh. And I'm pressing down into the thigh to lift the chest. And then I'm pressing down into the thigh to turn and spiral away from the thigh. So just notice where you feel this. You might begin to feel it a little bit in the top of the thigh or even into the hip. I want to make sure that left leg is constantly engaged. The left bicep, by the way, is open. Then I'm going to lift the left arm up, and I'm going to reach forward in a diagonal here and bring the hand down and try to bring the tricep now into that right thigh. And you can just place the hand flat on the ground. So here we are, we're in a twist, we're in a forward bend. There's a lot going on in one pose here. Again, I'm just initiating this twist by pressing into the thigh and turning the body. And by the way, you don't have to spiral too deeply. You're going to go at your own pace where you're at. And then lastly, lift that left arm up one more time. Lift the right arm up as well and face forward. And then lift your chest, look up toward your hands and bring your hands toward the foot. Use your strap if you need to. And then just gaze down at that crossed over knee. And if you like, you can take the head down and let the chin or any part of your head really rest on the knee. We're holding this forward bend a little bit longer here, as I want to really settle into it. And as I do that, I lift the chest from time to time and draw the ribs forward just to get that length. And lastly, just observing where you feel this in your body. You may actually begin to feel it in that left hip as well. And then inhale the two arms back up. Exhale the two arms back down. And uncross that foot back to Dandasana. Sit up tall. And again, just reset the pose. Drawing the flesh of the buttocks out, separating your heels wherever you want them to be, and re-establishing the legs. Then lift your left foot with your right hand, pull the foot across the body. You're going to let the sole of the foot turn back and get the foot back as far as you can here. And the knee kind of just sits right over the extended leg, knee. Sit up tall. And then we're going to take that right arm, lift it up, and cross it over the left thigh. Take your left hand behind you. It's an upright twist. Turning the bicep up. Again, it's going to put the shoulder in its place. As I exhale, I twist. I'm very conscious of keeping the head in line with the rest of the spine. If I let the chin just even a little bit drop forward, I'm throwing the alignment right off that cervical spine. So I'm very cognizant of that. Then lift your right arm again, big inhale. As you exhale, extend forward in a diagonal line and bring your tricep into that thigh. You can place the palm on the ground. The other hand is somewhere back here. And now I'm using both hands and that elbow to help me spiral around. This one I feel a lot in the low back here on that right side. So I feel that stretch into the sacroiliac joint. That's great. And then we're going to come up. We're going to lift both arms up now, facing forward. And now think about your chest moving constantly forward as you come into the forward bend version of the pose. And then allow the chin to come down. I'm not forcing the chin or the head down. I'm really coming from a more foundational place here in the forward bend. I'm trying to get more length in the spine first. I'm going to stay here for about another 5 breaths or so, just to really allow myself to go into this pose, letting my body really succumb to the position of the pose, this shape of the pose. Good. Inhale. Come up with the 2 arms, exhale, release, and uncross. And take the heel forward. You're back in Dandasana. Sit up tall. This time, take your left hand to the left inner knee and bring that heel in. Take your right hand off to the side. Lift your left arm up. And start to fold from the hinging from the top of that right thigh. Bring that arm forward as you bring your chest forward and take the inside of the foot. Now, if you need your strap, that's perfectly fine. You put your strap around the ball of the foot here. And again, you're using your backhand as well to give you a little bit more leverage through the chest so I can come forward a little bit more. So this is part 1 right here. We're going to move into part 2 of this pose. You're going to lift your left arm, and this is tricky. Lift your left arm and then turn the thumb face down. So the palm is facing out. We're still in a forward bend. You're reaching forward, but you've changed the position of your arm. I'm going to go forward even more into that forward bend. Use your back hand. This is kind of key. Then I'm going to wrap that left arm around the shin. And then I'm going to take my right hand back and see if I can come to a bind here. I'm still in a forward bend. And now I'm moving a little bit more into a twist, turning the body to the right, letting my left ear turn down toward the extended right knee. Try to get the left ribs to turn through to the right. Now this is part 2. Part 3 is sliding your hands down and lifting your chest up. So it's slightly different. Still slightly forward bending, but also lifting up through the chest. Just feel that action as you draw the hands down the buttock. You feel the chest lift. And then those left ribs, you're going to try to twist them through a little bit more. And then release. Just uncross. Take the left leg forward and bring your right knee in. Setting that heel in line with that sit bone. It's coordinating and collaborating with the sit bone to make sure that this pose has a strong foundation. Lift your right arm up. Take a big inhale. Feel the sternum chest lift. Take your left hand out and exhale, come forward. You're bringing that arm right to the inside of that right leg and you're trying to entice the chest forward. So it's a gradual forward bend. All these poses, by the way, are really fantastic poses for the digestive system. So they're poses that you want to draw on to maintain a, healthy digestion. Breathing deeply, breathing fully. Again, allowing the breath, the exhalation to draw out, if you like, through pursed lips. So you're not just letting it out willy-nilly. Now we're going to move into the second part. You're going to just slightly elevate the right hand and then rotate the hand out, thumb down. Reach forward more, get as far forward as you can, and then you're going to wrap the arm around the shin and reach your left hand back. And if you can't reach, of course you use your block. We're going to stay deep in the forward fold. And beginning to turn now to the left, just allowing the right rib and the right side of the abdomen to draw through toward the left. And then ultimately my head kind of follows suit as the ear turns down. Now we're getting ready for part 3 of the pose here. So as I start to draw the hands down the buttock toward the floor, I allow my sternum chest to lift me up. And then I'm going to turn a little. You're going to be able to rotate a little more to the left. And then release the hands, release the twist, and extend through the 2 heels. We're going to take a forward bend here, just to take a little break from the twist just for a moment. Lift the arms up, press your heels forward, and again, line up your spine with that imaginary line between your legs, right in the middle there. And then lift your chest and draw your spine right over that. If you can take your hands right over the feet and let the fingers come down into the sole of the foot, try that. If you can't do that, use your strap. Now in this one, I'm stimulating the sole of the foot with the fingertips. So I'm just under the ball of the foot, starting there and pressing all the way across to the baby toe side. And of course, right in the middle there as well. Trying to stimulate that part of the sole of the foot. A lot of the meridians here to a lot of the internal organs. Gaze down. A few more breaths here. And then you can just hold the fingers in place, pressing them into the sole of the foot. Slightly bend the elbows to bring you forward a little bit more. It's quite a deep forward bend. Notice if the legs are engaged or if they're relaxed. We do want to try to keep them engaged. And then inhale the 2 arms back up and exhale. Release the hands down. So we're going to go into the ultimate twist here, the ultimate knot. Let's see. Go ahead and take your left foot and bring it in and across towards your right buttock. So the left knee is pointing forward, and then we'll cross the right foot over the left thigh. And we're going to take the right hand back behind us. So as you can see, the knees are sort of stacked, one on top of the other. Then lift your left arm up and turn to your right. I'm using my back hand on the blanket, and then take that tricep out and over. Take it down a couple of times to make sure that you get deep into this one. We want to go pretty deep now into this twist, right into the center of the body here. Turning, and I'm also loving this twist for the hip, the right hip. Beautiful. Now we're going to come back. So you're going to keep your feet like this, except you're going to take hold of that crossed over foot, and you're going to turn it back into the Gomukhasana position that we did earlier. So you're trying to lower the upper knee down onto the, the lower knee, and then there you are in Gomukhasana, right? You can take your hands to your feet again, pull those toes out again. Yeah, pull them out, away from the foot itself. Then take the two arms up and exhale, forward bend right here. Just reaching your hands forward, use your fingertips, and then release the chest over the thigh. You can maybe at this point take the chin right over the knee. Slow down the breathing just for the last few breaths here. So go deep and slow. And try to relax where the arms attach into the shoulders. And then inhale the two arms back up. Exhale the two hands down by the feet. Lift your right foot, uncross it, take your left leg and extend the two legs out in front. You're back into this foundation. Now we're going to take that right foot and bring the right heel through to the left side. Try to get your knee forward. It's optimal. Cross your left foot over the right thigh. Take your left hand behind you. Lift your right arm up, and then a big reach over, trying to get that tricep. Walk that tricep down the thigh. The palm faces up. The palm faces out. And you're turning to the left. Observing how this pose is challenging various parts of your body. And pulling the navel in and turning it around. And trying to go pretty deep. This is probably one of the deepest twists. That's great. And now we're going to come back to center. We're going to take that crossed over foot now and lift it and try to bring it back and set the knee right on top of the lower knee. And keep walking those feet apart until you find the right position. Then take your hands to your toes and pull those toes apart again. Yeah. Sit up tall, then inhale the two arms up. And exhale, folding forward here, big reach. Walk your fingertips forward and let the chin come forward. And then you can relax the hands. Now try not to grip on that left buttock here. Try to relax it so you can go a little further when you relax it. If you're tensing there, it's going to inhibit the forward bend. Last few deep breaths here, nice and slow, really full with the breath. Softening the shoulders. Good. Inhale, lift the two arms up. Exhale, release the arms down. And on the cross, bring your feet forward. All right. And here we are. We're beginning now to unravel the knot. So now instead of creating a twisting sensation, even a twisting image, we're going to untwist and open. You're going to start off now with the two heels wide apart. So stepping those legs out from each other now, just acknowledging the openness in the belly, in the hip, in the chest, in the legs, everything open. Take your hands behind you, press your heels forward and sit down, connect your sit bones into the floor, and draw the calf muscles down and the Achilles forward toward the heel. Then take your right arm and lift it up. And then reach your right hand toward the left foot. Right foot, sorry. Take your left hand onto that left thigh and add a little bit of pressure there, just to make sure that that thigh is engaged. And as I press down into the left thigh, I can bend the right elbow and let my body slide a little bit closer to that right thigh. Now what I'm going to do next is let go the right hand and turn my elbow down, palm face up, and see if I can bring that right elbow down to the inside of the leg and take hold of the big toe mound from around the front there. And then I'm going to take the left arm and lift it up and reach that left hand toward the outside of the foot, the baby toe side. So it is more of a side stretch, less of a twist. Body open. Beautiful. Now, to come up, just lift that left arm and come up slowly with ease. Reestablish this Upavista Konasana, wide angle seated pose. Take your hands behind you again and help yourself reestablish the legs. The heels are drawing forward. Then lift your left arm up and just a big reach toward that foot. You're just going to basically just reach your hand over the top of the foot as you did before. And very slowly just bending that left elbow as I inch my side body toward the foot. Take your right hand onto your thigh and press down there. As I press the hand into the thigh, notice this space that's beginning to show up right on that right side of my low back. Now I'm going to go further, just taking the left arm and turning the elbow in, and the forearm is, the inside of the forearm is turned up. Just going to take my hand then around the big toe mound, and then take your right arm and in a big winding motion, reach that right hand to your foot or towards your foot. Them straps are welcome in this pose also. Beautiful. Inhale, come up. You're going to keep your legs nice and wide. I'm going to take my bolster now, and I'm going to bring it forward. I'm going to put a block under the bolster just to give a little bit more leverage. So that's toward the front end of the bolsters. The bolster's right in the middle here, coming right in between my legs, and I'm looking at the bolster almost like it's basically a reflection of my spine, rather a wide spine, but nonetheless, I'm going to lift the two arms up. Now, the bolster, you want to pull the bolster right in against the lower part of the pelvis, right into the pubic bone, and then you're going to ease your navel up, ease your ribs up and over, and then if you can just take hand to wrist here over the short edge of the bolster, you can bring your head down. Oh, that feels nice. Giving the back body here a nice stretch all the way across the back muscles, feeling the muscles draw away from the spine. Getting those legs stretched as well at the same time. Good. From here, you're going to lift your head first. Take a big inhale. Exhale. And then take the next inhale, take the two arms up. And exhale, release the arms down. Sit up tall. Close your eyes for a few breaths here and just feel your body. Your torso is centered, your two legs out to the sides. Stacking the head right on top of the spine. And then release. And just take your bolster off to the side. So one more seated pose here. I'm going to take your left foot and bring the heel in toward the hip. The right leg is going to stay out to the side. If you feel the need, you can put a block under that left shin right there. Okay? Inhale the two arms up. And exhale, turn towards your right foot and bring the hands to the foot. Janu Shirshasana. Holding on both sides of the foot here with the hand or your strap. Hands up. This block here can really take the pressure off the knee if you need it to. Good, inhale the two arms up, exhale the two hands down. Take that left heel back out. Walk your feet apart. And then take your right heel in. I'm just going to put the block here for now, right under that right thigh and shin here. Inhale the two arms up, turn to the foot, the left foot, and go ahead and take the hands to the foot. Beautiful. Inhale, come up. Exhale, release the hands and bring the heel out to the side. Back into Upavista Konasana here. Use your hands behind you to sit up tall. And lastly, arms up without the bolster, just rolling forward, trying to feel the two sit bones. So you're rolling toward the front of the sit bone. Really, as you come forward, and you can bring the hands down. Now, if you have a block nearby, you could put the block there for your head if you like. And then inhale, come back up, and exhale, release. Now, you're going to set your bolster up, if you have a bolster, or you'll improvise, with a block underneath the far end of the bolster. And if you have your blanket, you can put your blanket on top of the far end of the bolster, like that. And then you'll have a seat in front of the short end of the bolster, and you'll bring the two heels in. And this, to me, is one of the ultimate, opening poses here. This is Supta Baddha Konasana. So I'm letting the two knees fall out. And before I let my body come down, I really want to get those heels in nice and close to the hips, and then I'm going to ease my back body down onto the bolster. I want to feel the connection with that bolster. It's very soothing. And then I'm going to take my hands to the buttocks. I'm going to lift slightly and draw the flesh of the buttocks forward toward the two heels. So they go in slightly and toward the heels. You feel that? So you're creating space there. And then I'm just going to open the chest. Very vulnerable pose. Letting the breath be a part of this pose here. Big part of the pose is the breath, as it is for most poses. Relax the facial features and try to get a sense of the two corners of the lips, the mouth, moving out. Almost like a little smile is finding its way into the face, but naturally so. You don't have to do anything, it's just happening. I'm letting the forehead spread from the center to the sides and down into the temples. cheekbones are drawing apart. The jaw is relaxed. And if your jaw isn't relaxed, you might want to move it around a little bit. Stick the tongue out. It's a great way to relax the jaw. And then feeling the two collarbones draw out to the sides. And it should literally be the image of a bow without the arrow. And the two outer edges of that bow just curling downward toward the elbows. And the upper chest is spreading away from the sternum. The ribs drawing apart. The abdomen spreading from the navel out, wrapping around the outer part of the belly and down toward the floor. And there's a softening of the pelvic floor here as the two adductors, the left and right adductor muscles there, are drawing apart. The inner thighs drawing toward the inner knee. And then you have this nice sort of coming together part of the pose where from the outer knee, you draw down the two lower legs to the heels where they're moving in toward each other. The feet are touching, sealing the pose. Supta Baddha Konasana. So without interrupting the body, the upper body too much at all, I'm now going to take my two hands to my outer thighs, gently bring the knees in together, and then lift your right leg, draw the heel forward, lift your left leg and draw that heel forward, press through the heels. You may want to glance down at your legs and feet because I want them to be perfectly centered here, and then I'm going to let everything go. The feet are falling out to the sides. There's no activity. We're looking for inactivity at this point. Fully letting go into the bolster, into the floor. At this point, I'm observing the breath. I'm not controlling the breath. I'm simply allowing myself to observe the natural, unprompted flow of the breath. And with every exhalation, I feel my heels and my legs and my buttocks and my back body get heavier. My head gets heavier, the back of the arm gets heavier. And then I feel the front body somewhat light. And you have this sort of these two opposing sort of forces that are actually working together to create a sense of union and harmony. very gently lift your two hands up. Bring your two hands over your eye sockets. And just let them rest there for a few breaths. Just shutting out any light. Inviting that receding of the eyes inward. And then slowly drag the hands down the face, really slowly here. Feeling the fingers draw over the eyes, over the cheeks, onto the chest, onto the ribs, onto the belly, and onto the floor. Bend your left knee and roll to your right side, taking the left knee over and your left hand down, and then very slowly push yourself up. And have a seat back on your blanket. Cross your 2 feet. Take your hands off to the sides. Inhale the 2 arms up. Bring the palms together and bend your elbows. Lift your chest into your thumb mounds. You have arrived. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you very much for joining me this morning. Mario's here and says hi. And I will see you Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Melissa.
Good to see you again.
Nice to see you. Take care.
Thanks. You too. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Melissa. Bye, Ivy. Bye, Danae.
Bye.
Take care.
Where's Mario?
Oh, he's right over there. He was practicing all along with us. He's waving, saying hi. Hi, Ivy.
Thank you. Bye.
See you soon.